are off with another episode of Booze Your Daddy Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Alan Snyder, here with my boy, Zach. You can't meat spin his gherkin. Elias, what's up, buddy?
Yeah, you can't meat spin a gherkin. It's vegetable. It's keto.
I thought gherkins were the little hot dogs. Did I
No,
completely mess that up?
No, gherkins are the mini pickles.
I guess I definitely got that wrong.
The hot dog's a pig in a blanket, which I love, and you can do a lot of damage. And it's tough to know your hot dog allotment, like how many pigs equal one hot dog. So when you've had like 60, you feel like Kobayashi or Joey Chestnut. You have no idea how many you've eaten.
Booze Your Daddy, the podcast. Tuesdays, we do it live. Saturdays, we post it later. People watching this, listen to this, rate, review, subscribe, do all the things. We have fun. We have a special audience participation podcast coming up next episode, which I want all the feedback for. We'll talk about that at the end. Before we get to that, we're calling this episode 119. I'm Batman with a sad face, which we're going to get into.
Was it Niche Keat? I didn't see.
We'll talk about the movie a little bit. No spoilers. Not that you can spoil a Batman movie. We all kind of know the recipe at this point.
He wins. Yeah.
Zach, what are we drinking for this episode?
You're drinking it cold. I'm drinking a warmish because there was a bit of a scheduling issue and I forgot to put it in the fridge. The Elysian Night Owl Pumpkin Ale. Now, I like the owl. That's about where my liking of this is going to end. Original pumpkin ale brewed with pumpkin roasted and raw pumpkin seed, spiced and conditioning with nutmeg, clove, cinnamon, ginger, and allspice. Pour carefully. Night Owl is unfiltered and may contain sediment.
Wow.
I've
complained enough that you usually don't give any description. This time, you're reading me War and Peace on the can here.
And if you don't like it, which I won't, you can call 1-844-HOPLINE, which I might.
Release the Kraken! Elysian.
There's something like solid in there.
Seattle, Washington beer. Shout out to the Feelings podcast. Feelings.
He lines up on the 12th hole with Augusta. Okay, this really smells pumpkin-y.
It's good. I usually like this around October, but I'll drink it. Drink the shit.
Oh my god, that's like pumpkin pie.
So good, I love it.
It's sweet, but then has late life. I don't really get the owl, why it's a night owl pumpkin ale, but as the Bundys say, Hooters, Hooters, yum, 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 Hooters, Hooters, and a girl that's dumb. Bundy family credo. I love that show.
Episode 119, I'm Batman with a smiley face. Zach, this past weekend, I kept calling it a triple date, and apparently I'm completely wrong because it was me, a date, and Mr. Eat the Rat. So the three of us...
you rode the tricycle. Julia was Lucky Pierre. Good for her in your Eiffel Tower.
I steal enough stuff from the internet that I feel that when a big blockbuster comes out, well, let me go to the theater. Let me go buy the movie.
I love movie popcorn. Like, that makes it for me.
It was so stale.
I think part of it.
It's a movie. When it falls on the floor, you're like, whoa. But we went down and we did this little, I'm going to keep calling it a triple date, so just deal with it. And we met halfway in between. I'm still learning the movie theaters here in Jersey. And
are you a throuple? Because that's a thing.
I have found a new restaurant in Jersey that I am addicted to. And by addicted, I've been maybe 4 times. If you take away the toys and the games from Chuck E. Cheese and you add in a dash of Buffalo Wild Wings, there is a sports bar called Aruga's that is fantastic.
Like the old-timey horn? Aruga!
Yes. It is such crap. They have TVs on top of their TVs, inside their TVs, next to their TVs. So there's sports galore. They have all the same crap that you find at any sports bar, except it's in Jersey, and there are actually some decent beer selections. So
it's like a shenanigans?
If you say shenanigans one more time. I'm addicted to this place, and they have this spicy Nashville hot chicken sandwich that I think is fantastic. But something came up at dinner, which is why I'm bringing this, because my buddy ordered the wings, and the waiter, first time I've ever heard this, goes, would you like all drums, all flats, or how do you want your wings?
Ooh.
And we were like, I was at least blown away to the point that I call him out. I'm like,
a lot of customer service.
Isn't it though? And then I keep reading the menu and find out there is a $1.99 surcharge for that, which is why the guy asked.
So, like, no matter what you opt for the physical act of them shucking and changing them and cutting them up, it's a $1.99 surcharge?
Shucking, not the right word, but no.
Like
If
cutting
you
them up,
want,
like cutting the whole thing, like how you do an oyster. Not
they're
shucking and
saying you
moving.
can get the wings, or if you want them 7 of one, 3 in the other, if you want to make the person think, you're paying $1.99 for it.
Okay, then I'm gonna pay the $1.99 and say surprise me, and then whatever he tells me, yeah, it's wrong. Change it up.
So
I would give him the question. Yeah, give me like 6/15 of all flats.
we used to go to Roosevelt Island in New York for kickball, and they had a great bar there on the island. I think I've been there with you, where they do quarter wings. Maybe they've raised it to 35-cent wings. I'm sure with inflation now it's like
The one
$20
by the
wings.
train, like that you sit
Yeah, they're
outside.
very close, that place. The
Yeah, very close.
River Rail, whatever the hell it was
Sure.
called. Anyways, we went there once, and Skittlebaum, who was a guest on this episode, asked for all drummies. And the guy looks at her dead in the eye and goes, "We're not doing that for you. You have to order as they come." And she gets so upset. And I just turned to her. I said, "It's quarter wings. Order 100. I'll pick out the drummies for you. Who cares?"
You would do that, the breaking?
No,
That'll think
no,
this
no.
girl.
Nobody keeps wings together, Zach. I'm saying that they would give you drums and flats, and I said we could separate
Oh,
them
they'll
manually.
separate them? I
I
still
basically
wouldn't do it.
said we can throw away $8 worth of wings. Who cares? Get what you want to get. And she was like, "No, I'll just do this," and whatever.
Oh, I wish she had dug her heels in. Let me see the manager. He's gonna take care of it. Was she hot?
Skittlebaum?
Right
Yeah.
there. Because that's your only shot. Guys like us, we have no chance. And if they do it, it's gonna be Horatio Sands. You know
Let's
where they're
just say,
going.
before the night was over, her and the Queen of Scream were behind the bar pouring shots out for people.
Nice. Like
Yes.
cocktail.
Cocktails and dreams without the suicide?
Yeah, sure. All that. But yeah, being a hot chick girl is the only way you're going to get a waiter to separate the drums for you. No guy in the history of time has had. That's why you get $1.99. That's the mail surcharge.
So I saw Batman, and I'm curious, how familiar are you with Robert Pattinson, the new Batman? Do you know who he is? Do you know what he does?
I mean, he was in the Twilight, and I saw him in one of the Harry Potter movies. I think
The
Jenna
one he
had to
dies
tell
in? Spoiler alert.
Yeah, I think Jenna had to tell me who he was. I'm not hip to his oeuvre, really. I think he was like rated the sexiest man alive by some periodical at some point.
I want to recount.
I mean, I just barely lost. But I mean, what else does he do? What else is he in? He's not a good actor, is he?
That's it. I think he's known for what you said, more the Twilight, and then he also was with the other girl from Twilight, Kristen What's-Her-Face, who she openly cheated on him, and then that was a big thing. But he just has
Isn't she
this.
a lesbian though?
Maybe? I don't follow it.
Good for her.
He has this look of sadness. And in this movie, which again, I'm not spoiling anything here. I hope everybody kind of knows like how the movies go. It worked. As Batman, I loved him. He was so empathetic, yet still scary. Because Batman's supposed to be the hero and kind of the villain to the city. But the issue
Not
is,
the Batman I like.
with his emo look
Batusi.
and his sad face. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's raining the whole time, so maybe he has some type of seasonal depression that's going on in Gotham. But Robert
Or
Pattinson,
Seattle, like our friends up there in Walla Walla.
this guy as Bruce Wayne, who's supposed to be the Lothario, the girls want him, and he's so charismatic, he looked like the Bat manic depressive the whole movie.
How long you had that one in the holster? It's actually not bad.
He just had this look like the whole time. All he
Is
ever
that
wanted.
yours?
Yeah, I made it up. That's me.
It's me. The Batmanic Depressant, that's yours?
Swear to God.
That's not bad at all. Put that on with your TikTok. Your Instatok.
He had this look the whole movie of just, if you don't understand my silence, then you don't deserve my words. It was so
Pretty
much.
much just did Buffalo Bill. Would you fuck me? I fuck me. But go on.
Without
He
the
doesn't
man
look like
trying-
him doing that.
I'm just saying,
haircut?
it was one of those movies where I liked, of course it was too long. I liked half of it. I didn't enjoy the other half of it. There was one
How
part
was
that
Colin Farrell as the Penguin?
unrecognizable and awesome. Awesome.
I love that he fought for the cigar, but the snowflake producers won't have smoking. He fought tooth and nail for the cigar.
You wouldn't know who he was if you didn't know.
Doesn't matter. I like that he fought for the smoking.
The only other problem I really had with this,
Batman though.
it was Batman.
He's not Batman.
Robert Pattinson?
Not Batman.
I don't know where you're going with this.
Keaton is Batman, and there is no other. Maybe Adam West. After that, that's the list. I am Batman.
You heard Adam West slayed all of the women, right?
Slade. I heard he was a mess.
I mean, makes Jack Nicholson look good.
I mean, he owned the role. He was Bruce Wayne.
Obviously, Zach, we don't have to tell listeners, anybody listening to this show, Gotham is one big analogy for New York City. And in the movie, they have the island. It's Gotham Square Garden. My only real problem with this
If
movie.
their Gotham Knicks actually ever win, it is fiction.
And in this movie, there's a little bit of a situation going on, and they are like, we have to get everybody to the garden to save their lives from drowning. And I'm just going, Manhattan has millions of people. The garden holds, what, 30,000? People are going to
They're willing to pay. Dolan will take their money. Was he the Penguin? Was that who Dolan is supposed to be? He's a fucking asshole.
I just don't understand that what they were thinking in Manhattan, where it's like, yo, there's skyscrapers. Just put people up in the buildings. But the fact that they said Gotham Square Garden was going to save Manhattan, it drove me crazy.
Yeah.
It's just one of those, it just didn't make sense. So anyway, we could go on and on about this movie. I guess I was just kind of segueing to,
like,
yeah, I give it.
Was it as good as the Christian Bale ones, which objectively,
no.
Keaton is Batman, but like those movies are fantastic.
No,
and I love everything Tim Burton, even his bad stuff. So not all of his bad stuff, but that said, so for me, I've got a high bar when it comes to Batman, whereas I expect nothing from like Superman, like Christopher Reeve.
I don't even watch them.
Not the new one. Superman 2 wasn't so bad with,
You're not catching me going to any of the theaters to see Spider-Man or any of the other Chazarai. I'm all set.
Well, I mean, the original X-Men were great with,
not in the theaters is my point.
Oh, I saw those in the theaters, I think. I was like 16. What else did I have to do?
Hacky sack?
Nothing. I was not bad.
I would believe that, you Jew face.
I was, and for a hot second, I was maybe better than age-appropriate average with devil sticks.
Oh, you would.
For like 2 weeks, but I could spin it.
I guess I wanted to segue here where...
I'm sorry, I wasn't slinging crack rock at the low rises like you, big boy. Yeah, Baltimore.
The fact with the whole Batman Bruce Wayne, it's all about people who aren't what they say they are, right? They're always doing something different. I'm curious, have you had anybody in your life who just one day, kind of like the Bill Cosby thing, where just one day you're not specifically what he did, but you heard something later, like a kid you went to high school or college that one day you're just like, wait, what happened? He did this? Have you had that ever?
Yeah, my mom's old and now current, again, boss. I can't get into on air what he did. It's sort of speculation, but it's like, it's confirmed. Off air.
Off air, we will talk about that.
Off air, it's so ridiculous. And now he's back in the picture.
I think I told you a kid I went to college with in my fraternity, nicest kid ever, who I actually just got an update the other day. I asked. He got caught with some type of dark web child porn, and I don't know all the details. One of those guys who I was like, I've hung out with.
What do you need after that?
I found out the other day, 6 months time served, probation. Didn't get anything else.
That's it?
He wasn't making the videos. It was like a training type of thing.
What was he training for?
Trading.
Or trading?
I don't know. But for me, that was one of my big, like, when you heard about somebody in your life that you're like, wow, I never saw that coming. That is pretty crazy.
I think that was the name of the video he was watching.
So as you know, Zach, I'm back working now, and I'm going to patients' homes. I'm going to keep this as vague as possible for HIPAA sake. But I have a new patient that I'm seeing right now in his 90s. Orthodox man. We're talking, he's got the Western Wall with the Rebbe's davening.
Why do you have to have a picture of that? All of them. Why is that standard operating procedure?
He has mezuzahs in every door frame in the house.
That picture?
This guy has cookie jars that are dreidels. And one has the shin, one has the gimel.
Oh,
and it is...
Yay.
And then, of course, I have to take a tour of the house to make sure everything is safe, to see how he maneuvers here and there. And we pass a picture of art, which, for our listening viewers, could you describe this picture that this man has hanging in his house?
It's, who is that? I mean, she's clearly busty and like a, beautiful blonde woman with a G-string on.
Miss February 1988? What do you want from this girl?
Miss February 1988? Looks like Erica Leniak. She's a smoke show, and she's got like, it looks like right out of Playboy in the 80s.
That has to be his daughter, right?
I hope it's not! Who the hell is picturing their daughter in a G? I don't picture Zoe in a G-string.
Not yet, at least.
I'll never a picture of that. If I see fancy, interesting underwear, I'm out of here. I'm gonna freak out.
I'm at this old man's house. He lives with his wife. Mind you, they have a sauna in their basement. They have a
Oh,
little
they
bar.
crush.
They're in their early 90s,
Yeah,
but
they
this person
swingers.
has the most devout Jewish home and then a picture of a girl. She was covered. I hope you know her blonde hair was covering up her tatas. I was in shock. I
And
couldn't
she's a
believe it.
shiksa.
You don't know that.
Yes, you do. Come on.
She had shik's appeal.
She does have shik's appeal. And that's where Marlene Simon Schnitzer chimes in. Hi, guys. Why does the shiksa with the tatas out?
So something else funny came up
Did you
this
check
past
the bathroom? I bet he's got old Playboys, which are fantastic.
worth money at this point.
Like from the yeah. You gotta
I'm not
you gotta
stealing from my patient, Zach.
why? He won't know.
With
We'll
ring
discuss.
cameras these days? No way. I don't
You
mess
got
around.
cameras with what he's doing with that picture? There's no cameras in his house.
Another
Pop a pill
story.
and it's rigor mortis. Oh, there you
This
go.
is a true story. I want to know what you would do. So again, protecting the names of the innocent. Let's
That
just
guy's
call
not
it.
innocent.
Let's call this of a friend who works at an office, and on a group chain,
I mean,
somebody
Eric F.
somebody end up
E. Fleischer. Go on.
somebody sent out a text of being like, "Hey, just want to go out and celebrate drinks. You know, I got engaged or something like that." I forget exactly how it was. It was a text of maybe like 8 or 9 people,
I don't
and
know
nobody
this.
responds until I don't know a couple hours later, and then one person responds. You know, let's make up a fake name. The girl's name is Melissa. She goes, you know, I really hate Melissa, and
Oof.
and you're like, I heard this story 2 weeks ago. And I'm like, oh my God. So what do you do right
Were
then?
you on the chain?
No, I heard this from somebody.
So what do I do if someone tells me? What do I do if I'm on the chain?
You're on the
Or
chain
am I
and
the
you're
sender?
not
Am I
either
the
one of neither.
Neither. So I'm just a bystander on the chain, and like
Somebody at your work says, hey, let's go out for drinks. I just got engaged. And somebody else at work is like, man, I think Matt's a jerk. I'm not.
I would 100% say, yeah, that's dynamite. Matt's on this thread. I would blow
You
it
call
up.
him out?
Oh yeah, immediately.
What if
I
you're
would
the
wa- I would-
sender?
I would so want to be the guy who called him out. I would race to do it so someone didn't beat me to it. If I'm the sender, I pretty much say, okay, go fuck yourself. I'm on this chain. Oh, I still lean into it, but now I go after them. And then I see where the chain goes. I see which now the die has been cast. We're gonna see whose side the chain is on. I tell
Here's
them
what-
to fuck off, and then I'm on the chain.
Actual results. Nothing happened. And then my friend ended up confronting the person who sent the I hate Melissa text. And they go, what are you talking about? And we're thinking, like, what if the girl blacked out? Like, what happened? She goes, no, what are you talking about? I think that person's great. Turns out she got a new phone number and the other person didn't update her number. And some random asshole who has this person's old number sent something back. Like,
That's the best thing I've ever heard in my life. That's just perfection.
chef's kiss.
It's perfection. That's so good. I'm not sure I'd have the stones to do it, but oh god, I'd want to. And it's
Actually
so
took out their phone to say, no, here's my number. And they're like, oh, you're right. You did get a new number. So they were able to confirm it. They then went and smoothed things over. But I heard this story and was cringing. I was like,
I'm crying laughing. I love the guy who did it. I give him an A for all of it. Just dynamite.
the
that he
random person.
engaged.
You get
Oh,
random
yeah.
texts here and there, right?
I don't, rarely. I'll almost always tell them like wrong number, but sometimes I've actually had a robust, chain with them.
Oh, I definitely, if I'm bored, I go back and forth. And they're like, I was
Well,
actually
we don't
hoping
banter,
to.
We don't fight. We don't say go fuck yourself. You're an asshole. But no, I'll just see what they're penny for your thoughts. I love meeting strangers. But for him to do that in a group text, to just throw a grenade and walk away,
Yeah.
unbelievable.
Yeah, pretty good. That's
Fabulous.
a Zach Elias. So
That's
you're
fabulous.
welcome.
Yeah, but they put me on one of those chains. But yeah, either way, I engage the group. If I'm the one who gets zinged or the one who sees this
Zinger,
happen.
zingy. Anybody
Well,
zinging?
If it's about me, I'm diving in because I'm going to try to curry favor with the rest. And I'm going to tell them to fuck off. And if it's not, I'm going to immediately let them know that so-and-so is on this chain, and now it's go time. Now it's on, now it's real, and then you just kick back and watch the theater.
So, Zach, you actually did a little chef's kiss. It was so beautiful.
Yeah.
I heard on a podcast the other day. Have you ever listened to any radio or TV and the person will say, blah, 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 hashtag this, hashtag this. It's like, okay, you don't
Yeah.
hashtag your.
I hate verbal hashtagging.
I heard somebody say the chef's kiss. Like they're like, and then
Hashtag
he went up
chef's
and did this, or he went, hashtag chef's kiss or something. I was
Ever
like,
say open with hashtag? If you're gonna do it, number sign. Chef's kiss. It's just as stupid.
we had a great moment watching TV last night where Julia turned on, I forget the name of it, but if you've watched shows,
So sugary.
you have the option when you're watching a show where they do like narration to it. So if it's two people going to the elevator, it'll say, Tom walks towards the elevator, looks back at Becky, and Becky said, for about 5 minutes, I had a lot of fun doing and then Julia looks at Alan, very pensive. She's probably sleeping in the other room tonight, but he's unsure. For maybe 5 minutes, you're welcome. Have fun with that one day.
Not sure Jen knows what pensive means.
Oh!
That's a cheap shot. She's not even home. She's with her miserable, sad friend who's having problems at work.
The one I like? The Ginge?
No. Her buddy. I don't want to say her name in case God forbid she hears this, but either way, it was she's going on about it, and she goes, but she's coming over, and Jenny goes, no, I'm going to her place. I go, oh, thank God. She's like, can I go? Absolutely.
You don't want to go in there and give her the tap on the back atta buddy. You're going to be okay.
Yeah, exactly. They're there.
Pishadoo of the week. I have a bunch of good ones, at least in my opinion. Let's get this party started with Homelander. I don't know the guy's real name, but the guy who plays Homelander in The Boys, some might describe as a snack, apparently got into a big drunken argument. And he basically waited outside a bar. He's like, I'm going to kill you. I'm going to destroy you. This did not make national news, but this guy actually thinking he's a superhero made me laugh out loud.
Yeah, all right.
Another interesting one. I'm not sure where I land on this, but your girl, Brittany Griner, still stuck in Russia.
I don't know if she's a Pishadoo.
Who is, though? But
Russia!
For what? You bringing hashish over to the Moscow?
What? She's a celebrity. Do whatever you want.
Why was she there?
Play basketball.
Is that what it was?
She's in the league. Yeah, they pay triple what the American League pays, so they all play over there. It's a thing. Tarazi used to do it for years.
Tarazi with a Z.
What? No, two S's.
Yeah, but you say it like a Z. Tarazi.
Oh, she's an Italian. She's from Jersey, isn't she? I think she is. Jack.
So Brittany Griner going over there and doing her.
There. So she plays over there. She hashishes. I don't know what. By the way, she's an idiot for bringing any contraband to an airport. How does anybody bring anything of any sort of substance into an airport? You got to be a moron.
Weed oil is next to nothing. Here, you get a fine. You get a fine.
I bring nothing to an airport. I wear warm-up pants and a nylon shirt so that I make the thing go beep, 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 beep. I just don't bring anything into an airport. Just pound it outside. So, I don't care. She's there to work. They're going a little far with this, I'll be honest. Detaining her?
A little bit.
I bet you she's a beast in a jail.
Her wife is a beast.
Really?
Yeah, a little more darker than I prefer, but good looking.
Oh!
What? I'm allowed to say preferences.
I don't think you are.
I like my steak medium rare. It's a well-known fact.
Your steak is absolutely medium. You've got of some sort of ethnicity.
Pishadoo candidate number 3. All right, hold on to this one. We have a saying down in Baltimore: Old Bay on everything. And don't get me wrong, I love Old Bay, but it is completely cracking my crabs these days that they are making Old Bay hot sauce, Old Bay vodka, Old Bay beer. Enough.
Baseball's the flamethrower.
Enough. I'm so sick and tired of it. Just because you put the Old Bay on it. We saw hot sauce this past weekend. I'm like, no, I don't want that hot sauce. I am so freaking annoyed with this.
So you're the Pishadoo for just having annoyance?
No, I'm annoyed that they're just marketing. They're going to make Old Bay Doritos. I'm so annoyed with it.
Who's they? Who are the ad wizards that came up with this?
McCormick? I'm not sure who.
I think they are. Okay. That's a you problem.
It's a you problem. All right. JetBlue pilot was kicked off of a flight. I think it was about last week. The guy blew a .17, which is white girl wasted. Now, Here's my actual thoughts, because of course he's an asshole for risking these people's
Yeah.
lives. But you know my take on this? I'm beginning to think flying a plane not as hard as people make it out to do. If somebody is willing to get that wasted and go on a plane,
They
and
say landing the plane is hard, or it takes skill.
he'll
And
be
that's the big
sobered up
issue.
by then. We didn't know where he was
Right.
flying.
Yeah. No. They say that takes some skill, especially like at night, I've heard. But the actual flying of a plane, like, it just flies.
I hear you
So
push buttons. It's button 1,
you
button
don't
2,
even
and that's
do
it.
that. Like, there's no traffic. Okay, you could veer a little bit. You're not gonna hit the median. Like, it's just air.
You also
go.
have a co-plot pilot who literally does most of the other stuff.
If you're that drunk, how stoned is he, you think? Like, what are we doing here?
They need a drinking buddy, right?
Yeah, exactly. But by the way, if you veer a little bit off course, you just correct it. Like, you got plenty of time to make it up over Nebraska.
I'm assuming there's 5 to 10,000 miles between flights, between air and with, right? Like, they're never side-by-side fighter jets.
That'd be awesome. I was
You look at another plane going by, you're like...
You just wave. You know what? If I had a buddy who was a pilot, I would get as close as humanly possible so that they could look over
and moon them.
You coordinate so that everybody on the side. Oh, you can tell your entire side. Hey guys, if you're on the right hand side, just moon the other plane. It's gonna be legendary. The entire thing.
I saw something. I hate
Derailed.
reporting the internet, but it tickled me. It was 2 cruise ships that had both ported, and one guy screams, the other guy's like, "Hey!" The guy responds, "Hey!" He goes, "What's your name?" He goes, "Tom." He goes, "Hey, Tom, fuck you." The other guy goes, "What's your name?" He goes, "Mark." He goes, "Fuck you, Mark." Zach doubled over in a room by myself. It made me laugh.
All right, if you say so.
Segue to next candidate for a Pishadoo of the week. This is hot off the presses. Norwegian, not the nicest cruise ship, had a woman get stuck in the water slide on the cruise ship.
Those tube things make me nervous. So who's the Pishadoo? Norwegian, the fat lady?
I don't know.
Yeah,
It just makes me laugh.
You gotta know if you're too fat to go on one of those. And I get nervous. I always think I'm gonna get stuck. It's like,
Here's why it bothers me as somebody who just went on a cruise ship and did water slides. They have a scale at the bottom of this one Devil's Tower that we did on Coco Cay Island. And I'm not kidding you. I'm going over there with a 8-year-old, a 7-year-old, and somebody else my own size. They made every single one of us get on the scale to the point that I turned to the guy and I said, "Is there a minimum on this?" Because the 7-year-old is 50 pounds soaking wet with the brick in her pocket. He says, "No, maximum 300 pounds. And I looked at him and I went, "You think she's 300 pounds? And he gives me this look of like, they make us weigh everybody, so there's no discretion. And I thought, okay, but Norwegian should have some policy, right?
wait, how did they show the weight on? Fuck the Norwegian.
Yes.
Your thing. They show it for everyone to see. They're scarlet lettering you.
Light bulb goes off red or green. You step on it and it goes green if you're under 299.9 and
That's
over
pretty
300.
bad still. When the red goes on and the whole place can see it, everyone knows.
I was also slightly offended for me getting on this thing, but at the same time,
Yeah, big fat ass. How? But when it turns red, does everyone do a thing? Shame. Do they all just
the
call
line
you out?
is more towards the top, not by the bottom. So it really wasn't a thing.
Oh, I think there's gotta be a thing where he rings a bell and everyone. Shame.
Next candidate, Mr. Russell Wilson, now a member of the Denver Broncos. Pishadoo in this instance is all my friends, including Mr. I need a glass for my beer, who don't think the Denver Broncos are going to be a goddamn force next year in the NFL.
They'll be good.
They have a better than average O-line, a top 3 D, and they have a great receiving core. They are going to, I actually worry, I think they're going to win their division. They really, really will. And people who think they won't make the playoffs, we actually made a bet because I said chug a 40 in 30 minutes. He says, I'd rather bet fantasy football entry fees. So that is a bet on air, on record right now.
He's gutless because I think the 40 is brilliant. I'll bet you they don't win the division.
Give me odds. We can talk about this.
But you just said you think they will.
I understand.
But
but
your
obviously
confidence, you shouldn't need odds.
The Chiefs are fantastic. The Chargers are the second best team, and they didn't make the playoffs last year.
Force is what I just heard.
I'm just saying, seriously, the world is going to have problems.
Shriveled up in 2 seconds after that.
And lastly, we talked about this a little bit, but Mr. Calvin Ridley bet $1,500 on a parlay during the time he was taking time off from football but to work on his mental health, and he has been suspended for the full season coming up.
$11 million.
A year is what he makes?
Yeah.
Why
He
was he betting
gambled.
1,500?
He's an idiot. That's like us betting 48 cents on and then losing
It was
your
a parlay,
job.
though. It was a 7-game parlay. That could hit.
So you're going to bet 48 cents on a 7-game parlay and lose your job for a year, which seemingly doesn't have much bearing on you because you just did that for the last year. But even so, he's an idiot. And then to say he doesn't have a gambling problem, he's got a huge gambling problem. The fact that he even thought to make this bet, knowing the rules, is a problem.
Are you okay with the year suspension, or you think that's a little much?
I don't give a fuck. Like, you broke a rule. Pete Rose got forever, so...
I had this argument right before we got on air with a different friend, because, you could go on about Greg Hardy did this, and Adrian Peterson did this, and Josh Gordon smoked weed, and it starts to become a little racial.
Hit his kid with a switch.
He hit his pee-pee, is what I heard. That was the testimony.
Ooh, ouch.
I believe very strongly in the integrity of the game, and I think the owner of the Dolphins, who was trying to give Flores money to throw games, and something like this where
he should be out.
I agree. I agree 100%. And I don't care if it's color, whatever you want to talk about, but you are threatening the integrity of the game. And again, you could get into steroids and whatever, but I'm just saying, when you were legit talking about losing games, throwing games, I say a year is nice.
I think a year's fine. Like, he wasn't playing because he was on mental health, which was screwing his team. His team couldn't win to begin with. But he still has friends in the league. If he's got the Falcons in his parlay, well, maybe one of the other guys drops a pass. Point shaving is you can't beat a good point shaving scandal. I mean, that makes college basketball what it is. The whole thing revolves around point shaving.
Tell me you saw the 30 for 30 that was all about the Boston College or Boston University point shaving that ended up uncovering the Goodfellas Lufthansa heist, where it's just like a throwaway. Like, nah, he did nothing to do with that. He was in the Lufthansa.
The Boston College, the point shaving thing,
So good.
But, like, that's what makes college basketball work. Point shaving. The whole thing.
Homelander, Brittany Griner, Old Bay on everything, JetBlue pilot, Norwegian cruise ship slide, Denver, Russell Wilson, more specifically my idiot friend, and Calvin Ridley.
I want to say Calvin Ridley. Honestly, though, it's the JetBlue pilot, because that's the stupidest thing to put down people in jeopardy by flying drunk.
0.17. What do you think he was acting like to be like, hey, Johnny, you acting a little fishy over there?
That's like over twice the legal limit, isn't it?
Yeah, one beer is like 0.4. That means he was slamming drinks. Slamming.
Bombed.
Also, because by the time they did his BAC, blood alcohol consumption, just so everybody knows. Or content, maybe? Because I try to get all hoity-toity.
You are hoity.
That means it was probably over 2 when he was like, all right, close my tab. I gotta go fly a plane.
I gotta go to Branson. The plane's not going to Branson. I am.
JetBlue pilot is taking the cake for this one. Zach, trivia for you. I got 5 true or false questions for you. Hopefully you get one right. Maybe you learn something. We talked a little bit about Batman.
One right. By the way, speaking of get one right, I haven't seen full Allison on this in like 3 months. Is things okay at home?
Yeah, she's studying very hard to get some certification that's going to pay her more money as a teacher. I don't know.
I'll pay her more money right now to show up.
She calls me once a week to complain that I haven't called to ask how it's going.
Give me the number. I'll call to ask how it's going.
Today, I'm going to test your knowledge on bats. Question number 1. Bats may be small. Question number 1. Bats may be Question number 1. Motherfucker. Question number 1. Bats may be small, but they're fast little creatures. Depending on their species, they can reach speeds of up to 50 miles per hour. True or false?
True.
Answer is false, because they reach double that, over 100 miles an hour. That's pretty quick.
Up to.
Yeah, up to 50, which means it goes up.
50. Oh.
Gotcha.
That's bullshit. It's a bullshit question.
Question the second. Baby bats are called pups, and a group of bats is a colony.
Do both have to be true?
Yes.
Then I guess it's true, because I think a group of bats is a colony.
Gaggle of geese, blessing a unicorn, those are true. Good job.
Yeah.
Woo, a little underwhelmed there.
Me? What do you want to say? Be fully aroused for a colony of bats?
Question number 3. Coming from its mother's umbilical cord, bats are born...
Whoa. You did a deep dive.
Bats are born with belly buttons. True or false? Correct
False.
answer is true. Believe it or not.
Fuck off.
They're mammals. Yeah.
Goodness.
Question number 4. Because of genetic diseases, there are only 14 different species of bats.
I don't know, man. True.
False. Over 1,400 species of
I
bats.
have no idea.
Neither do I, but who cares?
Eh.
And last, question number 5. Over 300 types of fruit, including bananas, avocados, and mangoes, depend on bats for pollination.
What?
Do bats pollinate certain
I don't
fruits?
think so. I'm gonna say false.
The answer is true. There would not be bananas, avocados, or mangoes without bats populating them.
I like all three of those.
Pollinating them.
I like all three of those.
Yeah,
fruits.
well then you're eating a little bit of guano.
Chicago.
It's probably in a big pile of
Chicago. We're
You got-
idiots.
You,
I got
speaking-
one.
Yeah, you got one. Zach, next week we're going to do an audience participation episode for people who are watching this video, people who are listening to the podcast. We want you to tell us your favorite soda. It can be anything. It can be Coke. It can be Pepsi, RC Cola, Shasta. I don't care. I'm looking for some interesting answers. So
Just give
leave
us your list.
a comment. Do whatever you have to do.
Please don't put Shasta.
That's my grandfather drank at the nursing home all the time.
Yeah, that's what Turtle drinks also. Not Entourage.
Boozer Daddy the podcast. Thanks for listening to this episode. We had fun. Audience participation next week. Get your answers in.
How many are we doing? 10 or 5?
10. Let's start with 5, and then we'll see if
Yeah,
I can go 10. Easy.
I'll try to go 10. All right. Let's Mr.
Surge. Surge is going to be very high up there for me.
How are things at home? Surge? They haven't made Surge since the 80s. Jolt? Well, I'll do some research. Do you have
Yeah.
Mr. Pibb?
Nah.
Nobody has.